Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support. Can't tell you how much. I'm very humbled. On this video here, the comments. Thank you so much for the comments. I'm trying to work through them, and actually today we are going to be addressing one. So let's get going on it. So the question was, is the hinge command not for auto sweep objects? That's a yes and no question, and I'll try to explain. We're not going to just talk about the hinge. We will also be talking about the male part and how to get it to snap into the female part. Really the bulk of the video will be on the clasp itself, but we will address the hinge command with auto sweep and how it can work or not work. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of this, and let's go ahead and get going on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my circle command and change to yellow, of course, and we'll start from F4, and I'll just type in 14 millimeters. So we'll make a 14 millimeter hoop earring. All right, and actually I do not want it from my top viewport. I want it from my front viewport, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that and bring that back one more time. Go from my F4 14 millimeter, hit enter. All right, so I'll select that curve. I'll go to my front here, and we'll just go ahead and change the seam, right? And this time we don't want to take it to the bottom, we want to take it to the top, and we'll hit enter. We'll go ahead and select that curve, take the yellow one, and I'll just go ahead and change it to gray and hide it. And then I'll take this curve and we'll just put it on a ring rail so we can keep everything organized, right? The sweep command, right? So let's go ahead and grab tools and grab a profile, right? And as you can tell, it's on our side. And I'm not going to worry about the design. It's going to be more about the auto sweep feature in the hinge and developing the class. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and change that curve profile to a very simple one, so it'll be easy, and I'm not going to waste a lot of your time, but I'll show you how to get everything working properly. I'll select that, and then I'll go back to my diamond commands, hit auto, and go to frontal. And then from here, what I'll do is I'll bring it in, let's say to a 2.5, and we'll drag the top up here to a 3, and we'll move that. Now it really depends on a lot, you know, the distance, opening distance, right? I've seen anywhere from 10 to 8 millimeters, and I measured my daughter's earlobe, and it's sort of like around an 8. So what we're going to do is drag this over just past an 8, so 4 on this side, and then I'm going to go ahead and then kind of bring this profile around so that it's going straight up and down, and then I will go over here and hit mirror, right? And then hit enter. So we accept that. So we have distance here, a little bit over an 8, right? So we'll get going. You don't want much smaller than an 8. So not that I know of, at least. But you can check that out and see what you think's best. So the auto sweep, right? So let's go ahead and just select the one profile. Go ahead to our edit, and we'll activate auto sweep. Excuse me. And we'll go ahead and hit enter, right? So if you select the auto sweep one and you go to your cutters and go to hinge, it's not going to work, and you can move this around pretty much anywhere you want, and it's still not going to really give us anything, because it's really basically one thing. So it doesn't know which piece to take and move over, right? So we need an opening there. So let's back out of this. I'll hit escape, and we've got this. Now, like I said, it doesn't work if you just click it and then go to your hinge. But if you go to your curves and you get a line curve, I would start from F4, drag it straight up, and then you can select that curve and then offset it 4.3. I already have it clicked in, and then we'll just go ahead and hit enter, and then we'll go back to our transform and do a mirror parametric and then hit enter. Now we can take this item and we can split it, right, with these curves and hit enter, right? And we can just go ahead and delete this piece here. And delete these profiles. Okay, but if you go to your cutters and you try your hinge command, it's not going to give you anything again because we have an open surface. So you need to make sure that surface is closed, and the easiest way is just to select it, type in CAP, hit enter, and now we should have a closed poly surface. So if you go to your hinge command at this point and then drag it up to where you need it, and now it'll work for you, right? So it's a yes and no question. A yes auto sweep will work, but you'll have to split your surface wherever you want it, and then it will work. And make sure it's a closed surface on both sides, right? And then it will work for you, no problem. You can adjust to wherever you want. But that's we're just gonna back out of this. And go back to where I just got my profiles out there, and I still have parametric profile out there. So there's that. So let's go ahead here, and if I get rid of that, no, it will go. So I have to go back 2 more steps. So here, get rid of that, and nope, still not giving it to me. So let's go back a couple more. There we go. Okay, so now I should have, yeah, I still have my and everything's parametric so far. All right, so I have this curve and these 2 profiles. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do a surface 1 on them. This rail and this, or that curve there, and then those 2 profiles, and then hit enter. And we do not want any dome. We'll take that down to 0, and we'll just hit enter, right? Okay, so we have our hoop out there for the most part. All right, and now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do that hinge just to get it out of the way. So we'll go to cutters, we'll go to the hinge, and we'll drag that up into place wherever we want it, and kind of adjust it. Again, this is just going to be a little bit about the profile or the hinge, but not really drastically, right? And you can make just that however wide you want it, right? And I want to go ahead and make that back to put it back to where it's right there on my curve, and then I'll just go ahead and hit enter, right? So we have the hinge out there, right? And everything's working fine, right? Okay, so now we want to look at the female part or the male part going into the female and how to make it lock. I've seen a lot of content out there that just kind of has the post out there and then Boolean union on this side and Boolean difference on this side, but that really doesn't create any kind of locking mechanism. It's great for rendering real quick. You don't have to worry about doing all of the detailed work, but it's really not going to help you too much as far as it's not going to lock. So we're going to focus on the lock. I'm going to go ahead and select those yellow profiles and then hide them as well, right? And then I will go ahead and I have my dupe border right here, so, or dupe edge. And I'm going to dupe this edge, this edge, and then down here on these 2, and then hit enter. And then I will group those together or join those together. So I have closed a planar closed curve, right? So that curve is all one. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'll go to my transform. I'll go to scale 1D, and with my mid snaps on, I will go ahead select that curve, hit enter, and then I can select to the top there and then select down here. I can't really, it's giving me a midway over here because those 2 lines were separate, right? But I can sit here and hit intersection, and it will snap right there to that intersection, and I'll click there, go back to all my viewports, and kind of drop it down some, right? Something like this here. All right, so I have this surface here, or that curve there, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude it out to maybe around a 0.5, somewhere around there. And then just go ahead and accept that, select my yellow poly surface there, and then I'll just type in CAP and hit enter, right? So I'll select that and go to my parametric mirror, and it'll slap me one over on the other side, right? So I got both those, and I have my hinge, and I'll hit enter. So I might as well go ahead and do the join. First, I'll go ahead and let's ungroup these, right? And then go to solids and go to Boolean union, this surface here, enter this surface here, enter, and take that yellow one, yellow poly surface, and switch it to gray. And actually, I'll go ahead and select those curves and switch them to gray too. Well, I don't want to turn off, let's go back. I don't want to get rid of this one. I want to keep that one because we need to Boolean union this one here with this surface and this surface, enter and enter, right? So we have all that. Now I'll grab that curve there. We don't need anymore and do that. All right. So next thing we need to do is get our post out there, right? Now, again, it's not about the design. You can do a lot of fillet work and a lot of gemstones or whatever you want to do on it, but we're not going to go into detail about that right on this video. It's more about making the locking mechanism, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to select this curve. We'll go back to our curves ribbon, and we will select offset, and we will come down here to command line and select through point, and I'll just take it up to where it's kind of like right there in our mid, maybe just a little bit higher than our mid, something like maybe this here. All right, and now what I'm going to do is go to my curve menu again and line curve, and this time I'll select F4 as a starting point, turn it to wireframe so I can kind of get a look, see what's going on here, and I'll just put one out here so that it'll go in that side that much right now. And we'll go to transform, and we'll go to parametric mirror, and then hit enter. We'll select that curve and split it with these two curves here and hit enter, so we can get rid of this curve here and get rid of these here. So we have this out here, and I'll just go ahead and select that curve, and we'll go to solids, and we will do just a pipe, make it easy. Now I've looked at findings online, and a lot of these are like 0.35, so kind of check to see how thick you want it, but I'm going to take this one up to a 0.5, I think, and then I'll hit enter, take a look at it. Yeah, we should be okay with that, perhaps. Yeah, and then go ahead and type in 0.5 again so we get both sides even, and then hit enter. Enter, right? So I have this, and I'll change it to a different color so we can kind of keep everything organized. Okay, so now what we need to do is get to where it goes in here. Now, this is kind of interesting. You can either have it locking to the top or locking to the bottom. Okay, on this particular design, like these, there's different types of designs where you could have something up here that goes in, connects over here on the top, but this one's going into the other one, right? So locking to the top or locking to the bottom, right? We're going to have this one locked to the top. And the reason being is because I think it's probably easier for the ladies to get their fingernail in here and push down and pull out versus trying to get it in here and push up and pull out. So that's why we're going to do it this way. We're going to have the locking mechanism to the top. All right. So what we need to do is we need to have a cutout in here, right? So I'm not sure where it's at in the curves menu. I've looked through here a little bit. I thought it was in the edit tools in the drop down, but I do not see it in here. So what we're going to do is go to our search and type in ENTER, and this command right here, intersection, right? So we'll select that. And then it'll say select objects to intersect. We want to know the intersection point between these two objects. So I'm going to take that, right click, bring it back, select two objects, this one, and then hit enter, and there's our intersection, right? Now, if you just put a hole in there, it's not really going to, do us any good because it's not going to lock or anything. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and turn off this, and we'll go to our right view. All right, so there's our intersection line there. We'll get rid of that there. And so we have all our menu ribbons back up there. And we'll just grab a line curve. And this time I'm going to turn on quad snaps. And I'm going to snap to that quad there and hold down shift and then kind of bring it down pretty close to the same depth, maybe a little bit more, but not too much, where that one's at. And then I'm going to take that, go to my transform, and go to parametric mirror. This time I'm going to turn on X and off Y and then hit enter, right? And then I'll go back to my curves menu and do a blend between this curve and this curve. And we'll draw that down. We'll drag this one down. And then take this to maybe, I don't know, 1.4. Take this one to a 1.4 so we have a little more opening. Yeah, that should be okay. Maybe a little bit more. 1.5. 1.5. And what we need to do is we need to check how deep we are. Yeah, we got lots of room here. So there's pretty good room in there. We still have a lot of extra meat right between the bottom here and there. So we'll just go ahead and accept that. And then again, I'll turn off these layers so we can go back and kind of work on this. And for some reason, my curve here disappeared. No big deal. Transform, parametric mirror, X on, Y off, and then hit enter, right? So it's back out there. And now we're going to take this curve, this blend, and then this curve, and we'll go ahead and join those together. We'll take this curve and we will split it with this curve here and hit enter, and then we will get rid of this here. Okay, and now since we have this out here, I'm going to make it easy on myself for future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this curve and use it as a guide, and go to offset curve, and then down here through point, and then I'm going to snap it to my mid right there, right? So it goes across my top, and if I turn back on my wire, my post, it's going right across the top of my post right there, right? So let's turn that back off again. All right, so we have that out there. And let's see here. All right. We'll go to, yeah. All right, and as you can see, my curve doesn't go out. If I extend this one out, since it's piping, it'll just continue my pipe on out. So that's why I went ahead and selected to the top. Plus, I can use this part right here as an intersection for future reference to make it easy on myself for drawing certain things out there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll down here toward the end and go to extend curve. Select that, and I'm going to go to my top curve there. Select that, hit enter, and select it again. Enter, select it again. Oh, I don't need it that far. Let's back out of that. Okay, so, all right, so right click, bring back that command, select curve, right? Enter to the extend, that'll be this. And then I need to click on it. And I should be able to drag it out. Okay, let's do this one. Select curve to extend, hit enter. Oh, I don't want to select that surface. That's what it is. That's okay. I can't get rid of that surface. So right click, bring it back, select just that curve, hit enter, select that curve again. For some reason, it's not doing it. Okay, we'll just do it the old-fashioned way again. All right. Select boundary right, select objects to extend the length. Here, select objects, press enter when done. Okay, so that's not what I want. Hit enter. There we go. And then I just want to extend it out. It doesn't matter how far. You can kind of always manipulate it later. So we would just want to extend it out some, not a whole lot, right? And then we'll hit enter to accept that. So now we have this and it's all joined together, right? Okay, so we have this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this curve and make sure that I joined it together with my top, which I didn't. So I'm going to do that now. And now we have this as one curve, right? And now I'm going to go to rotate. I'm going to click on copy in my command line. I'm going to start at F4. And with my intersection on, I'm going to come up here and select where the intersection is. Right there, quad's okay. And then I'm going to click on it and then drag me one out somewhere around here perhaps. Okay, and then hit enter. And then I can go back to my, rotate, right? And click on that and press enter, and I'll go to the quad there, or intersection, and then snap to the bottom there, and then kind of just make it more straight, right? And then hit enter. Okay, so I'll get rid of this one here. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so we have our cutout for the opening, right? Or about ready to have our cutout. So the reason why I put this up there, I can use it right for other things, which makes it easier for me. So I'll do a sweep one. I'll select that top curve, select this profile here, hit enter, and then I have this here, and I'll just go ahead and hit enter. I'll select that item, and I will go ahead and change it to a cutting layer, right? So now we have that there, right? So what we can do here is this, okay, they're separated, so which is good. So what we need to do is solid, Boolean difference. This will be our first surface, enter, and our cutting layer, there will be a second surface, enter, and enter. So now if I get rid of this, hide it, you can see we have a cutout going through there, right? And it's a little bit deeper than our post, right? So now we have it so that it can go down and then lock up, right? But there's no locking mechanism yet. So that's what we're going to do next. But it has room here to drop down and lock up, right? So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and just hide those for right now. And I'll go to maybe right viewport will probably be easier, and that top one, right? So I'll go in here and just grab me a line, but actually I want both sides, so I'm going to right click on it and go to that section there, and I'm just going to drag it out something like that, so it's further than my item there, right? And then I'm just going to go ahead and take that, and we'll just drop that down somewhere, let's see, 3 point, somewhere around here. Let's turn this back on. Well, not that one, or post. Okay, and then turn this one on. Yeah, we should still have enough room there for it to drop down and be able to lock up. If not, a jeweler can get in there and open that up just a little bit more. It shouldn't be a big deal because it's going to be joining to the top, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of these again. Okay, so we have this out here. And what we want to do is let's go to our right viewport and let's select these two lines here, and we'll do a little trimming. We'll trim this. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that. Okay, and then hit enter. Now that line may or may not be attached, so let's go ahead and take it and try to join them together. Unable to join curves, probably because these are a little off, right? No big deal. Let's go to our point edit, not our control points, but our point edit, and click that. So we have our points out there, and this time I'm going to make sure my end snaps are on, and I can just select that point, and with all the arrows turning, this one's green, yellow, red, if they all turn white, I can select that point and just snap it right there to the end, and I can do the same thing to this one over here once they all turn white, and then snap it to the end, and then hit enter, get rid of those points, and select those curves. I got rid of the points by hitting escape, by the way, and then just join them together, and now I have a closed planar curve. Okay, so we have that one out there now. Now let's turn back on everything. And there's my item disappeared. Why? Okay, so let me go back. We'll probably do that again. Let's abort that command real quick. Let's go back, get my surface back. For some reason it disappeared. Okay, so we'll turn off all gray. We'll turn this off. And we'll do that trim one more time. I don't know why it disappeared. So we'll go to our right viewport. We'll select these two. Do that trim one more time. Here, here, here. Hit enter. And let's just make sure that they're both back. Wonder why it's disappearing. Okay. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's keep it out here this time and see what's going on with it. Okay, so if I go to my right viewport, I'll go ahead and select this curve and select this curve. And actually, let's go to all so I can kind of find out what's going on here. And we'll do a trim. And we'll trim this, this, and this. And hit enter. And it disappears. My surface disappears. Interesting. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take this curve here, and we'll go ahead and just duplicate them. Yes, record history is off. Okay, duplicate them in place, and I will turn them to red. All right, now we'll take all yellow, and we'll just hide it for right now. Now I should be able to do this. So we'll take all red, and we'll do the trim. This surface, this surface, this surface. Hit enter, and it got rid of my surface again. Why is it doing that? Okay, so this line curve should not be an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, take this red curve here and just delete it. And we'll turn all yellow back on just to take a look at it. Okay. And then we'll take all that yellow again and just go ahead and hide it. This time, to make it easier, make sure it works, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this here and hit enter. Okay, now I know I can go in here and let's keep it on just in case so we can watch it. We'll select that curve here. We'll select this curve here, the yellow one, and we'll do the trim. Here, 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 and here. All right, so we have that. We'll go ahead and hit enter. There we go. We kept it this time. Everything's still there. I don't know what the deal was there. Now what we'll do is we'll take that curve, go back to our edit points, and we need to get those bumped up together, right? So we'll select that point, make sure they're all white, snap it to that point there, come over to this one, select it, make sure they all turn white, and go to the end there, right? And then I should be able to take this one and this yellow one and join them together, right? So we have close curve. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, so we need to make a cutout and a notch, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select that curve. We'll go to our rotate, copy yes, F4, and I'll turn back on that yellow because I want it to do, I want that curve there so I can grab that intersection, right? So I'm going to select that curve again and go back to rotate, copy yes, F4, and I can snap it up here to where it goes to that quad, and then I can just bring it over and place it somewhere around here. And then I can take that curve, do a little rotate. Maybe I want it straighter or whatever. And then hold down shift. And then there, now it's straight, right? Okay. So we have that. And if we put it back on, you can see that we just have the hole there, right? It's a solid hole going through for our post, right? All right. So now what we want to do, there we go, put it on wire. is we're going to do a surface one sweep from this point, this curve, top curve here, to this profile here that we made, and this one here, and then hit enter. And we don't really need any, we want it straight, right? So it'll snap and lock, and we'll hit enter, and we'll take that and we will change it to our cutting layer, right? Okay, so we have that. Let's bring back our line there, and let's give us everything some shading here, right? So if we hide this, you can see now we have a little ledge there, right? That'll so the post will be able to go down and then snap up, right? So first thing we probably want to do is go ahead and we'll hide green here. Let's go ahead and do a Boolean difference with this surface enter to this surface enter. And we have that, right? So we got that and everything turned back to green. We'll go, and now we have our little cutout there, right? And this one will probably not work. The reason being is because it's planar with that curve going in there, right? This big curve is planar, but we'll go ahead and try just to see. But this time we want to do a Boolean union with this, our first surface, and then this is our, not that one. Let's go ahead and hide that post. Hold on a second here. Let me get my bearings. Okay, get rid of it. Where did my cutter go? That's the cutout right there. I should be able to, oh, that selects the post. Okay. So let's go back real quick. Back again before that cut. All right, so there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to duplicate in place, and we'll change this one to red and just hide it for right now. Okay, now we'll go back and do that cutout here. So we'll take this Boolean difference with this here and enter, and there's my item. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so we have that, and now do a Boolean union with this and hit enter. Oh, Boolean union, sorry, one more time. Select this surface, enter, then this surface, and enter. Okay, so that should be joined together. So let's find out. Let's give it some shading, and let's go ahead and we'll hit enter. Take this and turn it off. Oh, hide it. We'll turn it to this layer. And there we go. We have that there. So we'll take that cutter and we'll hide it. So now we have that little notch right there, right? All right, so the post should be able to come in, and when the post reaches that area, you can get it to push down and then slide this on in, and it'll snap up, right? And that should do it for you. Everything should be okay. And let's go ahead and just check it to make sure. Now, if I take this and try to go back to my Hinge command and edit it, it's not going to work because it'll only take those cutouts there, right? So there's another way we can manipulate this. What we're going to do is we're going to go in and duplicate this little round circle right here. All right, and we'll go ahead and hit enter. So there's that, and I'm going to go up here, and no, I'm going to come down to my command line and type in a point, P-O-I-N-T, and then hit enter. I'm going to turn off all my snaps here except for center, and select that, and I'll go to that, and then now I have a point right there that I can use, right? So we'll go in here, and we want to kind of take a look right in here. And I'll use that point to be able to manipulate everything and not lose all those cuts and joins and everything like that, if that makes sense. So I'll go to rotate and select objects to rotate will be this, and then hit enter. Center of rotation will be that center off. point on will be that point right there. And now I can hold down Shift and then I can drag it out. And you can see that the item is there and we have a cutout there, so it should go in and then snap up, if that makes any sense. All right, so one more time we'll go ahead and so you can kind of get a look. All right, so we'll go to rotate this item, enter from that point, and I'll click it here, and then we'll just move it up, and it should go right in there. It looks like it is, and then snap right in place. If that makes any sense. So that's how you can get the clasp. There's all kinds of different things you can do here. You could add a sort of little design on top, and then put a little latch on the other side where it kind of, there's different kinds, but I think this one should work out fine for you. Now in casting, this may not can't come out real perfect, but it will give your jeweler a lot better way of being able to get in there and get it all to work with no problems. The only last thing you need to do is go ahead and do a Boolean union with this, enter, and now those are joined together as one. So I hope that helps. And if it does, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment below, please, and share the content. Really appreciate it. But I think that'll work out fine. There's other ways we could have put this piece into, and maybe we'll get to those at a later date. But hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit better ideas how to make those kind of clasps where they'll lock in instead of just putting a post in there for rendering. All right. Thanks for watching. If you found the video useful, if you're not subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that bell for notifications, and good designing. Thank you.